Human babies are incredibly useless compared to other animals.
A baby horse can walk within an hour of being born.
Baby giraffes can stand up in 30 minutes. Sea turtles hatch alone and immediately sprint toward the ocean. It cannot walk, talk, feed itself, or regulate its own temperature properly.
For the first few months, it barely understands it exists separately from its mother.
From an evolutionary perspective, this looks like a terrible design.
Humans became the most dominant species on Earth.
We built cities, airplanes, nuclear weapons, and machines that can land on other planets. But somehow, the first stage of our life cycle is closer to a helpless potato. So what happened? Why are human babies so absurdly weak compared to other creatures? The answer starts with a problem so catastrophic that evolution had to perform a biological hack.
And that problem is our brain. Human brains are enormous. An adult human brain weighs about 3 pounds and consumes 20% of the body's energy.
Compared to other primates, our brains are ridiculously oversized. That's what allowed humans to develop language, planning, tools, culture, and eventually civilization itself. But evolution created a massive problem the moment our brains started getting bigger. Because babies have to come out somehow. For millions of years, early human ancestors walked on 4 legs. Their hips were shaped like other apes. Then, around 6 to 7 million years ago, our ancestors stood up. Standing on 2 legs completely changed the shape of the human pelvis. That's great for balance and movement, but it's terrible for pushing out a baby with a massive skull. Anthropologists call this the obstetric dilemma. Humans evolved 2 traits that directly fight each other: bigger brains and narrower hips. Eventually, evolution hit a wall. A baby's head was becoming too large to safely fit through the birth canal. So, human babies basically started getting evicted early. Compared to the rest of the animal kingdom, human babies are born extremely premature. Not technically premature in the medical sense, but developmentally premature. A foal is born ready to run, and a baby chimp is far more physically capable than a human newborn. Human babies arrive while their brains are still wildly unfinished. If human babies stayed in the womb until their brains were developed enough to function independently, pregnancy wouldn't be 9 months. It would last roughly 18 to 21 months. And at that point, the baby's head absolutely wouldn't fit through the mother's pelvis. So evolution settled on a compromise: get the baby out earlier and finish the construction later. Human babies, are basically external fetuses.
For the first year of life, huge parts of brain development are still happening outside the womb. That's why newborns sleep so much. Their brains are growing at an absurd speed. But unlike many animals, human babies aren't born with a finished operating system. They're born adaptable, and this is where things get really interesting. A baby elk is born knowing how to stand. A tarantula knows how to spin a web. A lot of animal behavior is pre-programmed hardware.
Humans took a different route. Instead of hard-coding everything into instinct, evolution made humans flexible. A human baby's brain is incredibly unfinished because it's waiting to download information from the environment. Language, culture, social behavior, tools, survival strategies, all of this gets loaded in after birth.
In a way, humans traded instinct for learning, and learning requires time. This is why human childhood is bizarrely long compared to most animals. In many hunter-gatherer societies, children don't become fully self-sufficient until their late teens.
From a pure survival standpoint, feeding a creature for over a decade before it becomes useful sounds horribly inefficient.
But humans are not built for survival alone. Humans are built for adaptation.
A wolf born in Siberia and a wolf born in Spain behave mostly like wolves. But humans can grow up in deserts, jungles, frozen tundras, giant cities, or islands and learn completely different ways of living.
That flexibility comes directly from the unfinished brain of a helpless human child. But being born helpless created another massive problem. Who protects the baby? Most animals solve this simply. The mother handles it alone for a while, and then the offspring gets on with its life. Human babies made that strategy impossible because human infants demand constant care. They cry more than most primates, they wake up repeatedly at night, and they need carrying. Humans raise children cooperatively. Grandparents, siblings, fathers, aunts, uncles, and friends all help. A human baby is so difficult to keep alive that our species turned childcare into a team sport. The dominance of our species began with a helpless baby, and that helplessness gave us something more valuable: time.